It's 4 o'clock. Let's begin our meeting, regular board meeting of the USD230 Board of Education. Thank you for joining us this evening. Rachel, please take roll.
Mrs. Horn?
Here.
Mr. Chitwood?
Here.
Mrs. Mitchell?
Here.
Mr. Ewing?
Here.
Mrs. Milius?
Here.
Mr. Hull?
Here.
Mrs. Baker?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, moving on to 2.01, approval of the agenda.
Madam President, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
There's a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? Rachel, please take the vote.
Mr. Chitwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell? Mr.
Yes.
Ewing?
Yes.
Mrs. Milius?
Yes.
Mr. Hull?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Horn?
Yes.
Approved.
Thank you. Would everyone rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, moving on to 4.01, the reading of our mission and vision. We read these at the start of every meeting to remind us what we're doing up here and to keep these at the forefront of all of our decisions. Our mission is to be a school district that engages students to learn, create, adapt, and succeed in an ever-changing world. And our vision is to maintain small town values and empower each student to achieve world-class success. All right, moving on to 5.01, public participation. We have received a card tonight from Liz Howell. You'll receive 3 minutes, and I want to remind you that the board shall not hear personal complaints concerning any student, employee, or groups of students during open session.
All right. Sharon, Nicole, and Keith, since this is your last meeting, I wanted to be here to thank you all for the time and effort you've poured into our school district. While I may not have always agreed with the decisions that you've made, I do appreciate your commitment to trying to make the best choices for our students and for our staff here at Spring Hill. Let me say it again. I do appreciate your commitment to trying to make the best choices for the students and staff and providing quality opportunities here at Spring Hill. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and we can only hope that those filling your seats will continue to leave politics out of school and continue to uphold the values that Spring Hill believes in. Thank you for all you have done. You will be missed.
Thank you, Liz. That was very sweet. Any other cards?
No other cards.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to 6.01, good news, recognitions, and announcements. Dr. Luttrell, or I'm so sorry, Mr. Peavy.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I about said good evening just out of habit, but we are almost here at Christmas somehow. We are very privileged to get to recognize a well-deserving staff member for a core value award. Within any school district, the technology department does things that absolutely impacts every single individual staff member and student that we have. And we are very honored to recognize Nick Stiles today for the efforts that he does to make sure that everything runs smoothly on a daily basis. Nick was nominated by Billy Terry, our Director of Technology. So I'll invite Billy up to say a few words.
Hello, everybody. Nick is on his 12th year here with the district. And when I started, he was a rock that I got to learn from, got to experience how the school district worked, how things worked in all the buildings. He has had a long history of dealing with every component of the school district when it comes to technology. He's our network engineer by title, but he deals with audio systems. He deals with email accounts, all the interfaces, hardware, deals with vendors, fiber, and all the components that make all these devices run and make the district run. I just have to say that when I accepted this position, I said there were some reasons for that, and Nick is that reason. Without people like Nick here, this transition from the old director to the new director would not have been as successful as I think it has been. And I'd like just to thank him publicly in front of everybody.
Congratulations. The sun shining. You guys can go this way just a little bit. Billy, looks like the sun is shining. That's not accurate, Billy. Perfect. Thank you guys.
Okay. And then the next, well, that's for the good news and announcements for this month, but then we're going to move on next to the item there where we are recognizing our outgoing Board of Education members. And at this time, I think our Vice President Hall and myself are going to go over to the microphone, and we're going to again say some well-deserved words about them, and also give them some appreciation for the time and commitment that they have made to Spring Hill Schools through the years. So we will start that.
Well, we want to extend a heartfelt thank you for the invaluable contributions. And I can tell you from firsthand, selfless service and sacrifice that is made when you decide to take the leap, and the patrons support you and put you on this board. We'll start by recognizing Keith Ewing, who has served the district as board member for 4 years. Please join me in thanking Keith Ewing. Keith, you got to get up. You got to get up. You got to come down here. Yeah, you got to come down here. Yeah, and that's one thing I told Rachel is we're going to kind of shoot this from the hip. So it's not going to be that formal, but we are in for a treat. No, I think you have to stay down for a photo. Next, we'd like to recognize Nicole Melius. She has been a champion for students and a steward for patrons and staff. And it's been an honor of mine to serve under her as vice president of the board. So please join me in thanking Nicole Melius for dedicated service to the district. And finally, if we can get the picture up, I hope it's the one front and center. Oh, look at the one on the right there. That's right. That's right. Because Sharon Mitchell, who has served for 12 and a half years on this board, whom, contrary to any pleas from us, begging from us to stick around, has decided to go ahead and move on after 12 and a half years of service to this board. And I couldn't thank her more personally, simply because she was a steward of mine, somewhat of a mentor early on before I even threw my hat in the ring and ran for this office. She and I got together, and she was an invaluable source of information and help and guidance to me. And of course, I'm extremely proud to have served under Sharon as vice president under her tenure as president of the board. So please join me in thanking Sharon Mitchell for her 12 and a half years to the district. We're going to do pictures with family. Those, Dr. Latrell, you want to say something? No, you do. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say some words in my superintendent's report, but again, I can tell you that the 3 outgoing board members have been great. All 3 of them, they will be the final 3 that were on the Board of Education when my selection of superintendent was made. So again, I definitely, have a special place in my heart for each of them. And I can tell you that while each of them, myself, did not always agree, I can guarantee you that all 3 of them definitely stuck to the mantra of we got to do what's not only best for kids, but what's best for Spring Hill kids and the Spring Hill community. And that is unique. And again, I am going to miss that portion of it because again, they have been very, very much labor intense in their efforts to make sure that Spring Hill Schools definitely not only shines for our students, but shines and it becomes one that others want to emulate. And I can say, having been here, that we are well on our way to making that happen. And it's because of those that have come and served and put things in place so that going forward, when they are no longer with us, we're in a much better place. And then we also have individuals. It's one thing to be a Board of Education member. The second thing about a Board of Education member is whenever you take a leadership role. And there's also part of being a leadership role, mainly serving as board president. And both Sharon Mitchell as well as Nicole Milius both served terms as Board of Education president, which is, like I said, a chore in and of itself. And so we also have a small token to give to each of them for their time of service as board president, so that when they're home and they want to have, some resemblance, they could, it's a engraved gavel, so they can, call the household to order. But again, we appreciate your efforts. And again, they all deserve another big, huge round of applause. And I think we might want to get some pictures. I know they have family here. Some of them do. And we'll take just a couple of minutes before we reconvene and try to get some pictures. But again, let's take the call. And then we will give would each of you like, real seriously, why don't we start and we'll give each of you an opportunity to, like I said, say if you remember, we've got dinner at 6. No, you can definitely say, definitely earn the time to say some departing words.
Okay.
And if you need tissue, there's a box of tissue right there.
Okay.
Sharon.
So I actually did prepare something because I don't trust myself ad-libbing anymore because I get a little carried away. So this is actually kind of long, but 12 years, I think I deserve a little bit of time here. I just have a few things I'd like to say in regards to the last 12 and a half years serving the people of the Spring Hill School District on this board. When I first ran for this office, there were no women on the board, no moms, so to speak, that were dropping off kids, volunteering schools, serving as PTO, or involved at that level. All of our 5 children were at different levels in the school district, elementary school, middle school, and high school. I ran against a respected opponent. Both of us worked hard on the campaign, and I ended up winning by a pretty large margin. And then the next 2 elections, I ran unopposed. I consider serving as an elected official in this community one of the greatest honors of my life. I'm thankful that the people that I've lived with and worked with the last 29 years in this community have trusted me to represent them. I have so much gratitude for the staff and the administration throughout the years. I've served with 3 superintendents who were all good-hearted, excellent, and capable professionals. I'm thankful for every educator and support staff that my children and the children of this district have worked with, from the preschool and elementary teachers who work with learning delays and styles and recognizing giftedness, to the middle school teachers who help shape the bents and the preferences in academic pursuits, to the high school teachers who so adequately prepare kids for the next level of life. Academics, athletics, activities, and just daily interactions have all been learning experiences and character building opportunities for mine and the kids of this school district. These staff people are gifts to our families and have earned my admiration. The greatest joy as a board member was handing each of my 5 kids their diplomas at graduation and each of our exchange students their certificates of completion. It's been a joy seeing them excel at the next level due to the training and preparation they had, yes, at home, but also through USD 230. Our oldest daughter just earned her national board certification as a teacher, and her inspiration to teach came from those who taught her here in Spring Hill. Her process and experience has further shaped my perspective as a board member, seeing as a teacher's parent the other side of education. Our next 3 kids are all working in different kinds of engineering, and I can point directly to Spring Hill High School staff who had a direct impact on their decisions to pursue those avenues. Our youngest, who was in elementary school when I got on the board, will graduate in May with an engineering degree from Kansas State. I've seen people come and go on the board in 12 and a half years, and each combination of individuals has created a unique team with its own strengths and weaknesses. I've always sought to have the community and the children's best interest in mind and heart, and I further tried to constantly bring an awareness of the role of the board in the makeup of the governance team, encourage mutual respect among board members, build trust, and represent a voice of reason. I have strong personal convictions, but I've tried to put my own personal thoughts second to what's best for everyone at the table and to work for consensus in decision-making. I'm proud of our accomplishments over the last 12 and a half years as we've seen tremendous growth in our district. Our district has stewarded the growth well, while greatly increasing academic offerings and excellence at all levels. We've adequately prepared for current and future growth in proactively purchasing land and building spaces. We've managed to get through most of our challenging times unscathed and even triumphant in some regards. My humble suggestions and requests for future boards would be to really get to know each other on a deep level, to truly understand each other's perspectives and talents, and work diligently to form those into a cohesive team. Challenge each other with equally respected voices and make the best decisions collectively for the district, students, families, staff, and the community as a whole. I am excited to enter the next role that I have, which one of is going to be a grandparent this spring. And I'm thankful for my kind husband, Troy, in the back, who has willingly supported me to serve in this office. He's listened a lot and given more advice than I've been willing to listen to. I'm thankful that he understands the value of service in our community and also lives it in his own life. So Dr. Luttrell and fellow board members, sorry, I have my back to you guys the whole time, and administrative staff, thank you for many, many years of collaboration and fond memories.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Milius.
Unlike Sharon, I will probably cry because this is exciting and sad all at the same time. So thank you to my family. I love you. Thank you for giving me this time because every minute I spend away from you is usually here or at work. So thank you to my other board members. So it's been wonderful working with all of you. It's not always easy, but we get through it. Every time we do it with respect and we do it well, in my opinion. Thank you to our community and to our parents for entrusting decisions about your most treasured things. I truly appreciate that. I'm honored to serve. And to our teachers and all of our educators, please keep the good going because we have a really, really great thing going here. Keep it going. I just ask that this future board, please remember Well, first, keep all the good things about the kids coming here. Keep celebrating them in everything they're doing. It helps remind you why you're sitting up here and what your end goal is. Keep celebrating them, please. And please remember who you represent and who you work for. You represent our students and our community and our parents. Just keep all of that in mind as you move forward. So, but thank you all. Thank you for everyone coming. Thank you for being involved. Thank you.
Mr. Ewing, you want to say anything?
Sure, I got
We
like,
probably need to go.
got a whole 5 words.
I didn't prepare anything. I know it's a shock to everybody. I enjoyed my time serving. I appreciate all the work everybody's put in. 2 years ago, when we added 4 new members, I was going, oh, this is gonna be interesting. And it worked out great. Everybody's got great ideas. Yeah, like Nicole said, Sharon said, keep moving forward with the good and add what we can to make it better. That's pretty much it.
Okay, again, thank you all very much. Let's get some quick pictures and then we'll resume the meeting. So why don't we start with Sharon? You've got quite a bit of family here as well. Let's get some pictures, then we'll get Nicole. And
Quite a bit.
might want to get one of the 3 together as well, so.
I was gonna say, we can be saying, I mean, use solid layers. But no one's saying on me. Do like for a Christmas card.
Only the kids are here. They know all the angles.
We're gonna get one with you.
Okay.
And if you guys want to slide this way, look at that. Get you out of the line here. On this way. Joey, you have to smile nice on this. Yeah. Oh, what we just saying. You,
Everything be okay. Thank you.
You gotta get at least one. We got 2. We're not gonna leave you out.
Okay. Well, thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda, which includes approval of the consent agenda items, approval of the minutes, personnel, clerk's report, treasurer's report, payroll and claims, contract for Lake Mary Center, lease agreement with Kansas School for the Deaf, renewal of Fast Bridge, teacher requested supplemental materials, bond 2025 elementary editions, December pay application, 26-27 course guides for elementary school, middle school, and high school, and instructional material pilot proposal.
Madam President, I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Rachel, please take the vote.
Mrs. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Ewing,
Yes.
Mrs. Milius,
Yes.
Mr. Hull,
Yes.
Mrs. Baker,
Yes.
Mrs. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Chitwood,
Yes.
approved.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, moving on to 8.01, roofing recommendations for Shees and Spring Hill Middle School.
Okay, Mr. Williams is going to present some information on our, which again is part of our phase 2 of the bond with the Spring Hill Elementary School, Spring Hill Middle School, the roofings, the roofing and that. So he's going to give you an update on that and we'll go from there. So Mr. Williams?
Yeah, good afternoon. First of all, before we start, I'd like to thank Sharon, Keith, and Nicole for your support, for everything you guys have done for the last 4 years and 12 and a half years. So 11 years for me, Sharon. I appreciate that. With that, I'm bringing you a couple bond items, both of them for discussion and action tonight because of timing for some of these. The first one is roofing recommendations for Spring Hill Elementary School and Spring Hill Middle School. Working with Jarrett Thummel here from Garland Roofing, as he's also in attendance to answer any questions you might have. We held a pre-bid meeting for both scopes of work. We probably had about 7 to 8 contractors in attendance for the pre-bid meeting. They went out and actually walked the roofs, and some actually measured everything on the roof to take a look at the 2 schools and see the scope of work with that. What you will find is I will open up the Spring Hill Elementary one first. These are the quotes that we got for Spring Hill Elementary. This is a complete new roof job on this school. With that, we had Premier, Goddard, Quality Roofing, and Delta submit bids for those. Right now, we're coming to you with the low bid of Premier Contracting to do the roof for Spring Hill Elementary School. Looking at the scope of work that we have asked for them to do, we do anticipate these roofs going into probably September of next school year. We were hoping to get them done by the beginning of the school, but they are pretty extensive jobs and tasks that we're asking them to get done. Jarrett has been talking to us about the large crews will be there during the summertime, and the noise will be done during the summertime, and it'll be more the smaller work that'll be taken care of during the time. So we'll get those taken care of also with that. So for 2.651, $2,651,812 is Premier Contracting for Spring Hill Elementary School. This comes with a 30-year warranty, and it is a complete roof replacement. Spring Hill Middle School is a larger project than Spring Hill Elementary School. So obviously the prices were going to go up a little bit on that. You can see the quotes we received for roofing companies there. Delta Innovative, Quality Roofing, Goddard & Son, and Premier Contracting. We want to recommend the lowest bid of $3,765,467. Once again, this job is going to go into September. Talking to the people at Delta, that also, once again, Jarrett with Garland has been talking to Kylie and I to make sure that the large crews, the large noise will get done during the summertime. And we'll work on the spaces that will at least interfere with the education when we get the school year started with that. So we feel good about it. We did budget $7 million in our bond budget for the roof replacement. So the total is coming in at $6,417,279. So that is $582,000 under the budget. It is higher than the estimate that we gave you. And the reason why it is higher is that after visiting with Kylie and Jared a little bit, this is going to add an extra protective coating on top of the roof to help ensure less maintenance on the roof. With that, if we didn't do this coating, we would probably be looking at maintenance at year 15. And this is going to help deter some of that maintenance that we're going to have to do at year 15. So that's why when we still had the money in our budget, we decided to get the price with the extra coating taken on the roof with that. So I will stand in for any questions. Jarrett from Garland Roofing is here to answer any questions you guys might have about the roofs, or Kylie to help out with some of those.
Mark, I apologize. I should have done this ahead of time, but I look at things very linear. And so when you look at the 2 buildings, I'm interested to know what the difference is. What is the total square footage that's being covered on the 2 buildings, if you know that? And ultimately what I'm after is the cost per square foot. and how that compares between the two buildings and the two bidders.
Do you guys know that off the top of your head?
I can get you pretty close on that. So you're looking at about 680, which is 68,000 square feet. I do it in roofing squares, so knock down 100 from there. So, and then the other one is like 930, something like that. Oh. The total cost per square foot came in about the same, which was about 3840 right in there.
Hey, thanks for coming tonight. You know, one of my concerns in all of this is the warranty and where we're going, especially that we're doing HVAC at the same time, because I certainly don't want us to be sitting up here and, you know, 3 or 4 years and doing the, oh, well, it's leaking because of all these other people. So have we worked out a good plan to get HVAC and roofing done in good order so everybody's happy with everybody else's work?
Oh, that's an excellent question, actually.
Okay.
And the fact that we're doing them both at the same time is ideal. Probably saves you a few $100,000 this way. The roofer will be responsible all the way through. And when I say roofer, that becomes back to me. As a manufacturer, I've got your roof for the next 30 years. The contractor will carry 2 years of that. But regardless, it's still our responsibility as Garland. So if they're, you know, we have a plan with Newkirk Novak as far as when the demolition goes on the MEP equipment that's coming out. They've got that, some of that in their bid where they'll cap it, and then the roofers will come in as they move forward on the roof and do all the flashings and close it all up properly. So instead of having to do it twice, we're doing it all at the same time, and that's the best way to do it. I think you'll find a consensus on that everywhere you ask. But that's an excellent question. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
So that is the plan to strip everything, cap it, and then put the final, so they'll have everything out of your way
Yes.
prior
correct.
to you guys. Okay.
Yep, for the most part. And you know, if we're caught up and we're moving right with them, even better.
Right. Okay.
Okay. No other questions?
Okay, that's why I'll move on to my next item then, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The next one, I have Spencer Brown from Newkirk Novak here. We have a change order. The reason why we're bringing this to you, because it is a large dollar amount change order. This will give us the opportunity to buy the electrical equipment needed for HVAC ahead of time, and this will cut into our contingency that we have for the elementary additions. If you can see, when we look at the contingency plan, we built in a pretty rather large contingency, larger than normal. When Spencer and I were talking about this, because we had an idea we might be coming to the board with this as an item ahead of time. If we purchase this equipment now, we will have this by the middle to late May for the HVAC installment. If we wait even until next month, we're looking at the end of June. For the electrical stuff. And so this change order I'm bringing to you gives us permission to order the electrical equipment that's necessary for the HVAC units. And it is coming at a price of $184,800. And I will have Spencer talk to you about this process and then answer any questions you might have.
Good afternoon. And yes, like Mark said, this is just the main switchboard panel for the elementary school and the middle school. So there's no labor in this. It's just the switchboard panel, the utility cabinet, and the breakers inside. So all that we're doing is basically buying the equipment now, avoiding long lead times. And our electrician on the elementary package will buy that equipment for us. They're basically just deliver it to the job site, and then a part of the HVAC upgrade bid, that electrical contractor will install the equipment. So it's a 26 to 28 week lead time for this piece of equipment. So buying it now gets it here in time for install in the summer.
So I think you're here, I think what I'm also hearing said in that is we expect a change order on the labor side to come in at a later point. Is that the
So
subtext behind that?
The labor portion of this work will be included in the HVAC upgrade bid.
That's already there?
Yep.
Okay. And then, okay.
Is this because when it was initially scoped, it was gonna be one system and now you changed to the other system? Is that,
No.
or how did we miss 180?
No, we didn't. So we didn't miss it. So the HVAC upgrade project, both the middle school and the elementary school, a part of the design for that project require 2 new switchboard panels. And so we're buying that with the electrical contractor on the elementary job and using some of that contingency money to buy that equipment to be able to get it here.
So are we gonna get credited this back later then?
So
Because if this was always part of it, why is it a change order?
so you won't see a physical credit for it. The amount, the electrical dollars will be in the HVAC bid that's bidding here in a couple weeks for the total upgrade. So for the electrical subcontract under the HVAC project, they will basically bid labor, wire, everything but what we're buying in this change order.
Is
So
this,
that's,
yeah, I'm so sorry. Is this only a change order because you want to do it early?
yes, correct.
Right, but then it's still not a change order, it's still a part of the contract. So it shouldn't be a
I
change.
think
order.
it's just a timing.
That's why I'm confused, because this isn't really a change order, you're just wanting to get funded early.
Yes, but it's a change order. It's not it's a $0 change order. We're using contingency money to buy it.
I
Well,
wouldn't
not a
agree with that
$0 change
that
order.
characterization.
Taking money out, but this just wasn't accounted for in the beginning.
Correct, because when we were working through the HVAC design, when we bought the electrical, or when we bought the elementary package out, we weren't kind of at that point in the design for the HVAC projects yet to know what this dollar amount would be. We know we would potentially buy it out, but we didn't know exactly what the dollar amount would be. So on bid day, on the elementary package, when we found out we were pretty far under bid, we added some more contingency money to help cover that.
Okay, so this was a known expense, just not to us.
That's kind of what we're asking, because it's a big dollar figure,
Yeah.
like literally right after we approve
Right,
the other stuff. So
you guys
you
anticipated
kind of understand the
spending it.
hesitation of-
You just we didn't know you anticipated spending.
It's kind of, so it's in our budget number for the HVAC project. We're just buying it under the elementary project. So the cost was accounted for in budgeting. We just didn't account for it in the elementary package. It's accounted for in the HVAC project budget.
Right.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But then why is it coming out of contingency? Why are we saying that it's out of the contingency funds instead of we're just,
Instead of the line item.
you get the confusion?
Kind of.
Okay.
We're buying it out of contingency because to do a change order where you have to take it out of the contingency dollars, or you're adding dollars to the overall contract.
But then that goes back to the earlier question. If we're taking it out of contingency, when we get to the HVAC, then the 184,800 will come from that, and we'll go back into contingency and we'll be whole on contingency. You see how we see it?
Yeah.
So is that right? Is that correct then?
It doesn't go back to the elementary project because you're
Well, no.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
buying it out of it.
But I think where the confusion lies is this wasn't missed. This wasn't something that was missed.
No, it's
It's a
not
timing thing.
Yeah, it's not like design miss where we're adding $184,000
Right.
to the project because we missed something in design,
Right.
scoping out or
Yeah.
bidding.
And so the 184,000, we will actually come in then under 184,000 on the HVAC.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So just to clarify, the change order is because of timing and it's moving from one project to another.
Yep.
So we're essentially the net to contingency will be zero. It'll just move from the elementary project to the HVAC project eventually.
Correct.
So we'll see an increase in contingency in the HVAC project eventually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Theory.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Which the net number is the number that really matters. It's just how we're getting here.
It's how
Because
we're-
my question is, my next question, and the answer isn't right now, which is, okay, how many more of these of, oh, we know we're going to want to spend money, but it wasn't part of that kind of thing. Are we doing this again later?
No, not for anything on the HVAC job.
That's a very honest answer. I appreciate that.
Okay. Any further questions?
I am heartened.
Thank you. All right. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Williams? Are we good with that one? Okay. 8.03 playground equipment and servicing upgrades at Prairie Creek Elementary School.
Good evening. So we are looking at replacing the playground equipment at Prairie Creek Elementary School. Mark Williams, back on October 27th board meeting, he presented the two playground set pieces of equipment that we were looking at getting 100% matching grant for. And then I've gone back and listened to that meeting, and there were several questions that were brought up, which I'll address here. So one of the questions that brought up, will anything be salvaged or does it get wiped clean? So, and the answer to that is it gets wiped clean. We do not salvage anything. The heavy equipment comes in and pulls the equipment out, it gets damaged, and we learn from other jobs we've done that there's just no salvageable playground equipment for that. So, is there a resale value for the old equipment? There is not. That the only resale value would be for scrap is all, and Cunningham Recreation would be taking care of that, so we wouldn't even see anything from the scrap per se. So, are the tall monkey bars going to be removed? That was a question, and of course, if we're replacing everything, they would be. They are no longer there. Honestly, we took them out like 2 years ago because of all the injuries that occurred. I think there was several broken arms and some other things that happened with that. So we've already taken those out, but it is a complete removal of all the equipment. And then was the blacktop area taken into account with this? And it was not. It's kind of a separate line item. It doesn't have anything to do with the playground equipment. We do assess the blacktop every year, and we'll see if it needs to be seal coated and restriped if needed, but that is not a part of this project here. So, and then the next three are kind of all in one. We would like the entire scope prior to approval. We would like the overall footprint and real site plan, and we would like the actual specs. And so we did a whole lot of work in the background. Mrs. Skibby worked with her students and staff to come up with the overall proposal. Ryan Dalton, oh, there you are. He is our rep for this. Met with him several times, met with a whole lot of people. We've been doing a ton of work in the background on this. We also met with Dr. Weber on this for the inclusive playground equipment. So before I get into the actual proposal, I am going to have Mrs. Skibby and her crew come up and have some words.
Thank you for having us. I'm going to let my student leadership team talk a little bit about the process and the vision and the dreaming that they did. So I'm going to give the mic over to them.
Hi, our names are Sloan, Lily, Kai, Kennedy, Dawson, and TJ, and we are members of the Prairie Creek Student Leadership Team. As part of this team, we have an important role of representing our grade levels and speaking on behalf of our peers. We help share student ideas and bring forward suggestions and work together with staff to make our school a better place for everyone.
Today, we are excited to share our ideas and dreams for a new playground at Prairie Creek. It all started back in early October when Miss Gibby met with Kylie and Ryan to explore the new possibility of a new playground. Armed with catalogs, playground pictures, and lots of ideas, Miss Gibby met with our student leadership team for a dreaming session. As a team, we talked about what we like about our current playground and what we wish we had. We shared some ideas like adding more climbing equipment, including a Ninja Warrior course, more swings, a rocker, a merry-go-round, a rock wall, more baseball fields, even ground-level trampolines. Getting rid of the mulch was our top priority for many of us. We also had the chance to look at 8 playgrounds designed and discuss what we liked and we didn't like. One of our favorites was the overboard, which is one of the pieces being proposed tonight.
Then Miss Gibby met with the staff and grade levels to gather their thoughts. Everyone agreed that we needed more swings and wanted an alternative to the mulch. Younger grades hoped for more slides and interactive pieces, while the upper grades echoed the desire for more climbing options.
Miss Gibby took all of our feedback to Ryan and Kylie to begin the design process and create a vision for a playground that's fun, safe, and exciting for everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share. We are excited about the potential opportunity to receive a new playground.
Thank you. Like I said, we just wanted to have the opportunity to have them come up and be able to share some of that process.
Thank you all. That was great. It was good to hear from you all. And I'm excited that you are part of that process, and thank you for the input you provided tonight. So I will get into the overall proposal here. And again, from what was said at the last board meeting, we would like the entire scope prior to approval, overall footprint, and the actual specs. This is all included within this. You'll see here's a rendering of the playground equipment here. Those are the colors that we're going to go with. It may look a little bluish on your screen, but it's a purple and gray. It's the school colors that they have. And here's some other renderings. There's some of the auxiliary pieces of equipment. And then here is the overall footprint. There. And then all the costs are laid out for all the playground equipment and the pour and play surface and all the other work that needs to go into this. And the reason we are bringing this to you tonight as an action item, I wouldn't typically do that, but in order for us to get the grant, which is slightly over $90,000, we need to have it approved before the new year. So again, the total cost is $440,437.15, and I will stand for any questions.
Thank you, Kylie. I have some questions.
Sure.
Can you help me understand when you say grant, what that application process looked like? Do they offer it every year? Because I know we've received it one other time.
I think I'm gonna have Ryan speak on that. I know I filled out paperwork to get this, and I don't know what the process was behind the scenes, but I'll let him speak to that.
Yes, Ryan Dalton, Cunningham Recreation. Yes, so a little bit more about the grant. We can't tell you that it is an every year thing. We can't guarantee it. But I've been with Cunningham for 5 years, and I have been allowed to extend the grant opportunities to several districts and municipalities over that time. So we don't know what it's going to look like in 26. But I can tell you that to meet qualifications, it depends on how much you're going to be spending on the units. There's going to be a threshold that must be met. And at that time also, the equipment must be paid for at the time of the purchase, the installation and servicing, any of the freestanding such as the swings or any panels doesn't need to be paid for, just the structures themselves. And then at that point, you get 100% funds matching towards that equipment.
Okay, and Nathan, can you help me understand, was this budgeted for during our July, August budget process?
Yes, this type of expenditure would be in our overall capital projects budget. Typically, in years past, at least from what I can see, it's around a $1.5 million budget. And so the budget that we had mirrored that with trying to increase it a little bit, not just for this project, but for other projects that we would have.
And so this project, I mean, we're nearing $500,000. So I just want to make sure that we came up with a deferred maintenance listing and this was on it and this was slated to hit that for this year?
This project in particular, let me just say this. I didn't have a list of projects when we created the budget of specific projects. So to say that this specific project was on the list, not on my list, but it does appear as part of the long-range capital project plan that DLR created. I think creating that list is definitely at the top of our priority list and working with Mr. Williams and Mr. Delphia for more of a long-term program.
Can you tell me what the date on that deferred maintenance list when it said this should be replaced?
It's on the 1 to 5 year of the facility master plan. And it's been big on my list. I would almost put it, we wanted to get Spring Hill Elementary School done first, which we did. And this is the next one. It's top priority, really is. It's the only school that doesn't have pour and play surface. It's 20-year-old equipment. It was one of my top list items for that 1 to 5 year plan.
So what does what is your total deferred maintenance out of capital outlay for this year then? I just want to make sure, it didn't sound like you had a list, but what is this going to push out to next year or the year after?
Right now, it shouldn't push anything from FY26 to FY27. Part of this will cross over into FY27. But until we have everything lined out for those years, it's hard to say what, if anything, it would push out. If this is a priority, though, if we take a step back and we answer the question, do we agree that this is a priority that should be done? If the answer to that is yes, then we'll make it fit within the list of those long-term projects, right? It's not going to get cheaper to do this. It's probably more expensive now than it was a year ago or 2 years ago. So if it's a priority, then, it's something that we can make happen. My goal is that when this type of thing comes up in the future, that we can say, yes, this is part of the plan that the board has seen, that they have approved, and this is where it fits in that master plan.
So I think one of my worries here is the board's priority this year was to increase reserves. So if we continue to, and I think this is necessary. I had 4 children go to Prairie Creek. We were ones that had a broken arm on the equipment. We were that. I'm not saying or disagreeing that I don't think it's necessary, but our priority was to increase reserves this year. And sometimes projects and wants have to get pushed to be able to meet those goals. So if we do this project and something else bigger comes up, what will our reserves goal look like?
Right now, from what I've seen in my conversations with Kylie, I think that doing this project, we still have room, one, to do multiple other projects. Now, could we do 3 more that are $440,000? No, probably. But what we have prioritized, at least in my conversations with Kylie, would not approach that amount.
Kylie, is there a way to do a piece of this so that we can encapsulate our grant, but hold off for a couple of years, maybe on the surfacing or something like that?
The prices are gonna go up, and so I'd much rather do it all now than wait and spend more at a later time.
So
yeah,
I have a comment. So I fully support replacing old equipment and making sure that the surfacing is safe and up to standards. Is the playground equipment unsafe right now? Because I know when we replaced the equipment at She's, it was rusty and there were pieces breaking and things like that. Are we having those issues at Prairie Creek? Because I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, we do playground inspections every year, and the report came back, okay, there was some things we fixed. We've had in the past year some broken slides. There was it's like a piece where the kids can look out. It broke, and the reason it broke is because that plastic's getting brittle, and it's just having some issues there. So is there anything broken right now? No, we've done the inspections and made repairs on it, and it's fine, but it is showing a lot of wear and tear. Again, it's 20 years old. So.
Okay, I didn't think it was that old. So I guess my concern is the size and the cost of this project.
Okay.
It just seems like maybe it's not the best time to be spending almost $500,000. I know those pour in place surfaces are very expensive. They're the most expensive, I believe. I don't know if maybe there's like another compliant surfacing option that would maybe, bring it down, or if just doing the surfacing alone is a possibility. Cause I know that, one of the kids mentioned that, replacing the surface was the most important to them. So I don't know if that's possible to just leave the current playground equipment, or if that, makes bigger issues down the road. And it sounds like the grant is really just a discount on the playground equipment. It's not an actual like reimbursement. So, I'm sure there'd be other discounts that would still be available down the road. It sounds like they do those pretty frequently. So, our job is to right-size projects for this district and to do things that we can reasonably afford and what the community will view as responsible. So, I'd rather see this come back with a little bit more modest option that, still replaces the equipment, but maybe tones it down a little bit and makes it a little more affordable for our taxpayers.
How does this compare to the equipment we just put at She's?
Can I go back real quick? Can I answer some of her questions? If we just do the surfacing now, and then you're just, what you're gonna end up doing is replacing the equipment at some other point and you're just gonna tear up the surfacing. So that makes no sense to do it that way. It's either you do it all or you don't do it at all. And so, if we went with a different type of surfacing, like a turf, it's around the same cost as what you're getting it at. So, and then just going back to Spring Hill Elementary School, the cost that we spent on the surfacing there. I don't have it here, but the numbers have gone up since we did Spring Hill Elementary School. The equipment costs have gone up, the surfacing has gone up. So if we keep delaying this, the cost is gonna get more and more. So that's the reason why we'd like to do it now. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
You're good. I'm just curious how the equipment, not necessarily the cost, understanding things are going up, but how does the equipment, the square footage, the swings, everything, how does it compare to what we just put at She's? Is it a pretty comparable?
It is, it's pretty comparable. The main sets are comparable. Some of the inclusive equipment's comparable. The footprint for, Timber Sage and Dayton Creek and Wolf Creek is a little bit less. But it's actually it's bigger than Spring Hill Elementary School, so. But it's relatively comparable with exception to the footprint.
Okay. The current unit they have 20 years old, but has very little in terms of inclusive, right? So that's the other big gap.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna step in here too, because I'm actually boiling under my skin. I wish I was sitting in your place, Anna, and my kids were going to the school. We're going to Timber Sage and already had the playground in it. It'd be easy for me to be able to speak like you were if I already had what you had. And quite honestly, this whole discussion is, in my mind, academic, because if there is a job that we have as a board, it's to make sure that we apply equity across all of our learning centers. And in my mind, this is a project that should have been done last year. And if we are comparing apples to apples, which I understand, not necessarily, it might be Fuji versus, a Delicious, whatever. But if we were comparing apples to apples to what we did at Spring Hill Elementary School, and if we had done it a year ago, we would have saved $55,000 off of what we're spending today. So if you want to punt the can down the road, one of the things I asked Kylie for was an estimate of what kind of increase we would see. And the best that he could provide is that $55,000. So apply that towards the $400,000 project, and you're looking at 12 to 15% increase just on cost of goods sold and potentially labor, right? So in my mind, this is all moot. This is something that should have been done. When our director of finance tells me that it's within the capabilities of our budget, and by the way, he's gotten incredibly creative on spreading this across 2 fiscal years. So we're only swallowing half of it now and the other half next year, which leaves more room for more projects for this year. And by the way, the following year. So again, I believe this is all moot. This should be in our rearview mirror, and how anybody could ask or suggest differently is beyond comprehension to me.
So my only question was to Dr. Luttrell, what his thoughts are on it, since you're our leader.
I fully support approval of the playground at Prairie Creek. Again, with as many elementary schools, middle schools, high school, there's always things that we have to do, and it's best to plan for them, which again, we have done, we're trying to keep doing. In fact, we plan on bringing to you in January, but we wanted to address this tonight for the grant purposes. We will bring you in January a more detailed plan that has specifically for the rest of this fiscal year 27, and potentially even some of fiscal year 28, what are the main capital projects that we plan to be doing outside of the bond that need to be done, what the estimated costs that we put together are going to be, what that kind of slices percentage-wise each one to the pie, so that when we bring you something that, okay, yeah, well, I know if we do this project that you might be thinking of isn't going to be neglected. Okay, because we do have, I think, and we all know there are other, one of the ones that we know that has come up that we plan on addressing very soon. We just haven't got all the costs, is we know that there needs to be some work done inside our high school auditorium. Okay, we'll be bringing you that just along with some other projects, just to show, again, as we develop and take inches and steps towards getting you a plan that ultimately all these things that come forward, you've got a great resource to go back and address to see, okay, yes, this is how this fits in. If I vote for this, I know it's not going to be at the expense of letting this go. Also with, as Mr. Holder said, we also will always hold some in contingency for that unexpected emergency that comes up that we have to address. And that was part of the reason of doing the facility master plan last year, as we continue to fine tune that. But yes, I fully support the approval of the playground at Prairie Creek Elementary School. Again, I have talked to Kylie as well as Mr. Williams and most of all, Mr. Holder, in making sure that that we've got the funds to do this and that it's not going to place us in any hazardous on any hazardous cliff by doing that we're going to have, if there's something unexpected, not get done.
And one thing I want to add too, Kylie, as far as I understand it, and trust me, I'm over there almost every day, right? There are things on there that are inoperable. There are things that are missing. The all-inclusive swings have been gone for some period of time.
Yeah.
And I've got pictures on my phone, if anyone would care to see it, where the protective coating on the actual jungle gym pieces is peeling off and there is rusted exposed metal.
Yeah.
So to say that it passes inspection is one thing. To say that it's not falling apart is another.
Yep.
So just in terms of questions, and this is a detour, does the north playground at Shees not need to be replaced too? The K plus playground?
It has a pour and play surface, the equipment, it does
It's
have.
still
the-
good?
it's
Okay.
still okay.
I didn't think it was on the list. I just, when you said, because
Yeah,
this is the last pour and play surface that we have to do in the district.
it is. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Or
I just,
turf and or turf. We have some that are turf, some that are pour and play, but
some that is on some spectrum of
Yes.
less than 20 years,
yes.
right? Because She's was ridiculous, right? It was 30 years. This is 30% less ridiculous than where She's was. And so, I think we're going the right direction in getting to priorities. But, my personal feeling on some of the things that have been said from this dais is still that discomfort that we're having, that we're going to be able to hit all those things. And that's kind of really a product of, She's not having a roof for the last 10 years, right? Because that value exceeds the total value of the capital fund, right? For a year. And that, when we sit here, and so when the next board's here, or if I'm still here in 5 years and we go, oh my God, your roof is leaking and you need a new roof. And we go, oh, we can't do that. Right. So that's where I kind of look to Mr. Holder and you and Mark to say, hey, we've come up with a plan to address, and please don't anybody take this wrong, but the roof not leaking is more important to me than many, many other things, right? I'm not saying it's more important than this, but pretty darn close, right? So I'm wanting to eventually get to a place where we're like, hey, these aren't going to be problems. We're not going to regret having done a new playground or put $500,000 of AB3 into a hole or whatever. And we're all sitting here ringing, and the new board members are going, why in the world did they improve this? We've got these leaking roofs, or the kids, it's 58 degrees and we have to supplemental heat. So I think we're going the right direction. I think we're getting to a better place of being happy. And so that's kind of where, and I'm going with Mr. Holder, is we're going the right way to make sure that the funds are there and that we're not continuing to get over our skis and not be in another she situation where it was bad, right?
With the roof.
Yes.
Well, the
I'm not
roof had the cap on it, so it is the original roof, but we did put a 10-year, so just keep in mind, we did put that cap on it and it still had leaks. Yeah, I get it. So, I mean, but we knew it was coming and I feel we got a great plan put together with the facility master plan. Again, we're currently working on some of those costs, so we are looking at that holistically, Nathan. Mark,
Great. And that's where I'm going, which is we've got that facility master plan. We're not going to be that position again where we've just got to Band-Aid something. We're going to be able to.
Yes.
Because I want you to have all the money you need to do everything that's on the list. And that's really my question is, by doing this, do we not have the money to do the things that are on the list? I think the answer is we don't know yet, but we're working hard on it and we're going to get back to you. Is that?
That is accurate.
Okay.
I will say that $440,000 in a district of our size is a very large expenditure, but it's not that, it's not
no
that, I mean, if this expenditure causes us to not do things in the future, then we've got
bigger
problems, right?
I agree.
Okay.
And I think you guys are going the right way enough to make me feel comfortable. Please don't make me regret that feeling.
Just real quick before I'm sure you've answered this question before when we did cheese, but just remind me, how long do these surfaces, are they intended to last for before they need?
I'll have Ryan speak on that.
Okay.
He knows better than me.
If properly maintained, with just keeping like sticks and things off rocks and everything like that, you can expect it to be 20 to 25 years as far as maintenance goes. Where it's a lot better surface, more of a unitary surface, adaptable surface than turf, just because turf needs to be stood up every so often and refilled, poured in place. Nothing needs to be happened to it as long as it's blown off and just generally maintained as far as washing it maybe once a year with a light power wash.
Okay, and same for the playground equipment. Is it intended to last that long as well? Because sounds to me like when you replace the surface, you got to replace all the playground equipment at the same time. So I just want to make sure that, is the playground equipment going to last 20 to 25 years? Or are we going to have to rip it out and then we have to redo the surface at the same time in 10,
20 to 25 years is the minimum of what you'll have. I mean, we have urban downtown Kansas City parks that last 20 years. They get 1 million kids playing on them a year.
Did you guys happen to do the zoo?
What's that?
The zoo playground?
Our Missouri rep did the zoo, but yes.
Okay, you did the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that's going to get. I'm not letting it go. Because I was just there, and some of this that has been addressed in here that it's totally fine to use OSB in the bottom of the hole and have fill in it, and I'm that guy.
Yep.
And I was just there, and the handle going up one of the slings was just wobbling back and forth, and it was the same not being centered in the footer.
Right.
And I'm the guy who's really concerned about that. So what are we doing so we don't have pipes that aren't in the meat of it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm head on this one.
Game Time's done tens of thousands of playgrounds and we have no issue.
I'm only worried about the ones here.
Right. No, I'm explaining that the equivalent as far as OSB, as far as stone, anything like that, is just to keep the post from moving while it's being cured, the concrete. And that when we put the post inside and drill the rebar around, it's not going to allow it to shift at all. I'll have to double check with you I can't tell you.
Don't go anywhere, break. I'd like to show you things. But.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I can't tell you that this piece is in fact ours. I know we've done work at the zoo, but I can tell you with one picture whether it's our piece or not.
Okay.
For the playground surface, if it does take a rock or something, is there a patching process that we can fix it?
In time, if there is vandalism or anything like that, yeah, we can patch that. And generally what we do, because Mother Nature over 10, 15, 20 years may bleed that a little bit dry as far as colors. I mean, there's no playground surfacing unitary poured in place that's not going to bleed as far as color. What we would do is like a geometric shape or like a slime splat or something like that. We would cover that area to make it look like it was intentional.
Oh, there you go.
I just want to know why we don't have a 20-foot aluminum slide.
Standards have changed a lot.
The fittest, that's.
And in the summer, you can bake cookies on it.
And if I can, I don't want to overstep, but as Mr. Hull was referring to as well, this is being into two different financial years, is that the only fee that is due right now is that $144,000 for the equipment. And that once we get into the new fiscal year, once we get into the new fiscal year and everything has passed inspection and you guys are happy with the product, and then following the next fiscal year is when we would bill on credit terms, similar to how we did at Shees.
Okay. Any other questions?
Did we beat the dead horse?
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Kylie. All right, moving on to 8.04, our financial update.
Okay, Mr. Holder's going to give a brief financial update. He started this year. We're meeting early in the month this year, this time. Usually he has better recollection, being the 6-month mark would be at the end of the month, but he's going to give you a quick report, but he'll be back in January as well at the end of the month in January to give you a report, but he's just going to take a moment and talk.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Luttrell. Just a reminder that this report, we will typically do it on the second meeting of the month. But because the timing of the November and December board meetings with the two holidays, we will do the end of November, the first meeting in January, and then we'll get back on track and do December at that second meeting in January. So then it should follow that we'll do it at the second meeting each month. The other reminder is just remember that the longer we do this report, the longer, not just months, but years that we do this report, the better it becomes. Because, we're in a system right now where we're trying to make sure the timing of everything is on a consistent basis. And revenues are generally consistent on when we receive them, unless there's some anomaly from the county or the state or sometimes federal revenue that can occur. But we would easily identify those. But expenses can be making sure that, again, we are on a more regular cycle. I know time is of the essence tonight, so really I just want to point out 5 items quickly. And we'll start over with the revenue and expense for the operating and the general fund, as well as special education. You'll notice that from a revenue standpoint, we're tracking just about a percentage point below where we were at this point last year. At this point in the year, that's not concerning. Last month, we were a little bit above. But as we go through and get closer to June, obviously that's something that we will track even more closely. From the expense side, you'll notice we are exactly a 0.5 percentage point less than where we were. The important thing to remember there is the expenses from FY25 as well as revenues, but the expenses is where it really comes into effect, are to actual, all right? FY26 is to budgeted, all right? And so we received our first legal max letter December 2nd. So in legal max affects general fund, we will make adjustments accordingly on that expense budget in January. The special ed budget is still something that we're monitoring very closely. That 21.39%. The reason that, to put it in perspective, we're 2 months of the majority of our payrolls by the end of October, September, October. So 2 out of 12. So that's a little under 17%. So you'll see there that we've spent 21.4% of that budget. We'll continue to track that. Now there's a few payrolls that fall in that 12-month cycle. So you would bump that up a little bit from the 17%. In general, though, we would like to see that track. So in other words, when we've had 6 payrolls, that our expenditures would be just a little bit above 50%. All right, so we'll continue to monitor that as we go out through the year. Capital outlay. Revenue, again, very small amount, but I did want to highlight the expense side. Again, kind of using the same principle. One, as we compare it to last year, we've spent just over 25% of the budget as compared to 47.6. Now, remember, capital outlay is one of those areas where I actually mirrored our FY25 expenses. That's what I put in FY26. All right, even though the budget that was approved is over $8 million in expenses, I mirrored that, and I did that intentionally because, again, as we discussed, the goal of building our capital outlay funds, I kept that budget intentionally low. So we are trending well there, the 25%. Now, again, that's going to be a variety of projects, but anything that we have in there that is salary and benefit related, and we're trying to move that back out slowly. But remember that those salaries and benefits are on a 12-month cycle. So through October would actually be 33% because 4 out of the 12 months. And so to see that at 25%, especially as we compare it to last year, we're in a good spot. Nutrition services, again, still early. Some of this can be timing, but our revenues have exceeded our expenditures year to date. That will slowly catch up, but through October, it was in a good spot. The special reserve fund, again, performing very well. That's our medical premiums, and that's how much we're contributing versus our claims. That continues to be performing very well. And then the last thing I'll mention, if you remember in September, end of September, we were actually in the red as you looked at fund balance for end of September. We have moved that back in the black. That's primarily due to a SPED state aid payment fund, as well as we got our first LOB payment in October. So I'll take any questions.
Where we're at on special reserve, that's not going to be linear like some of our salary-based expenses. It's general feel up, down. We're about where we should be.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, though, that's totally based on medical performance. Yeah. Claims.
Oh, I am so sorry. Are you coming back? Okay. Any other questions? Will you, I know you said, look, we're in the positive now, but that's only attributed to our bond dollars. Every other fund we've overspent from what our revenues are.
Actually, if you look at the bottom left, the fund balance there is only related to operating fund, which is general and LOB and SPED. It's those 3 funds is what makes up that total.
Okay, so operating, it says our revenues are at 12 million and we've spent over that 12 million. Special education revenues at 1.4, we've spent 2.1. And then what was the other fund that you said that would be?
So it'd be general, LOB, and SPED. Yeah, it's I totally understand what you're asking.
So, yeah, so I'm not sure what you.
No, great question. It's because we started the year with the fund balance in LOB and special education. General always starts at 0. LOB, though, was a little under $1 million. Special ed was $750,000.
Okay.
I'm taking that off memory, but we start with the fund balance in those 2 funds. So that's why, yes, expenses have outpaced revenue year to date through October, but because we started with the fund balance, that's taken into consideration.
And that fund balance isn't related to our reserves?
The way the state figures it, yes. I mean, it's a piece of that. The state also throws in other funds, but these are definitely the three largest operating funds that we have. Yeah.
So what I hear and what I see is that we've spent more than we've brought in, and we're decreasing our reserves because we're overspending.
I would say in the areas of the one area that we have to monitor is special education. Because we are trending above where we were at that point last year. On the expense side out of general and LOB, we're actually almost 1% under where the trend is. If you just look at it in isolation, yes, but remember that we're looking for a trend in the whole picture. And so where revenue comes in, if the revenue in November is higher, it's going to flip that a little bit. So it's really about over the course of time where we end up. Would I like it to be more than 578,000? Yes. But as I look at our trends based on last year, we're not trending to be way under where we were from an expense standpoint. In fact, through October, which is very early, you're right, 4 months out of 12 in the fiscal year. But through October, when you're looking at those three main funds, we're actually 0.5% less from a percent standpoint than we were.
Can I give a suggestion that might be helpful in this? Because what I hear is they're off, but it's just timing, like the revenue versus expense, and eventually they'll even out. Do you think it would be helpful to do a year-to-date budget? And obviously we're looking at year-to-date expense. Do you think that would be helpful? So then we could know like, hey, we're actually where we should be as far as expense goes and as far as revenue goes.
Yes. So for instance, on the expense side, the 64.2 is the estimated budget there. Are you talking about something in addition to that?
Maybe I'm confused because that's just the full year budget, right?
Correct.
Yeah. What if you just did a year-to-date budget for revenues and a year-to-date budget for expenses? So we can see like, hey, year-to-date, we're in line where you're talking about trending, but we can't see that with this report. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I'm tracking. Yeah, you could, like salaries, you can definitely do that. Other things are going to be, I mean, you don't want to have to go off of historical, to do it on a monthly, to do it on a monthly basis. I mean, you could take the total budget, obviously, and divide it by 12, and stack that. But if you were looking for pieces where those expenses were going to be more, whether it be at the beginning of the fiscal year, more towards the end, yeah, you could do that. And I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'm struggling around how to do it.
I'm struggling a little bit because if it wasn't for our bond fees, like the ask for the equipment and all of that would be harder because we wouldn't have the cash to do that. So if we took our bond, if our bond funds weren't there for us to use for cash flow purposes, we wouldn't be able to just pay cash for a big project like we're asking.
Yeah, we could, because remember our capital outlay fund ended the year with just under $3 million in cash balances. So even though year to date, our revenue was 370,000 and we've spent 1.8, I mean, still, obviously that's a, 1.43 delta, but we started with a $3 million cash balance. So it helps. If we didn't have the bond fund, would it be tighter? Yes, but we would have the cash to do it.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see this going. And
Yeah.
It's good
I am
info.
too. I'm especially a year from now to see what it looks like. Thank you.
Okay.
Can we take 5?
Yep, 5-minute recess. We'll be back at 5:34. you, Keith, for keeping us on time. We are. That's okay. We're back in session, guys. 9.01. Oh, we have some action items this evening. 9.01 roofing recommendations for Shees and Spring Hill Middle.
Madam President, I move the board approve the bids for Spring Hill Elementary and Spring Hill Middle School roofs as presented.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, Rachel, please take the vote.
Mr. Ewing,
Yes.
Mrs. Milius,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mrs. Baker,
Yes.
Mrs. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Chitwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell,
Yes.
approved.
Wonderful. 9.02, the change order for the HVAC electrical for Spring Hill Middle and Shees.
I move to approve the change order as presented.
Second.
Ooh.
Tied April.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion? Rachel, please take the vote.
Mrs. Milius,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mrs. Baker,
Yes.
Mrs. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Chitwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Ewing,
Yes.
approved.
Awesome. 9.03 board policy. Now, before we motion, I actually have some questions because there's things on here that don't line up with what our work session was. And I wondered if you had some answers. Dr. Robinson, okay. EBI, I did not see in what was presented here. I don't think. It looked like a new one. Were we not including that? Or maybe I missed it. Yep, E-B as in boy, I. And I could have missed it, so please. But I have it in our work session packet, but not here. It's KSB Long Range Maintenance Program. And actually the same with KBJ. And I don't have it written that we were excluding them, but if anyone remembers.
I'm gonna have to go to my bag.
I know I can tell these were new ones, but I just don't have it written that we were excluding them, but.
And you said E.
B-I and E-B-J.
Showing either one.
Do you want me to show you this is our packet?
Yeah, I'm not seeing either one in draft. That's why.
I agree with you, and that's why I was very confused because I have it printed from our work session.
I don't have our work session document with me.
Last Monday, the other one.
Yeah, the other one. I know, that's why.
Yes, yeah.
When was that meeting?
I'm trying to exclude change, so then when I went back and reviewed them, there they were, but.
They both still should be, they're not showing up. I don't know why they're not there, but they're not showing up I'm in board docs and they're not showing up in either place.
Okay, well, can I tell you the other ones too? Because it seems like those are missing.
Okay.
ED.
Say that again.
ED as in David, dog. In our board work one, it looks like I have written that we wanted added back mileage payments to parents may be made only with board approval, but it looks like we did not add that back.
Okay.
Does anyone have a difference? That's okay. That's okay. FC. Let me get to it so I can remember what my question was on it. FC was the naming. And there was a part that we wanted removed, but I think it's still in there. And I know that one was kind of funky when we went through it.
I think the only piece we were reworked was that last paragraph, if I remember right.
Oh, I just have that we were removing everything, and the only wording there would be the board shall consider naming requests after recommendation by superintendent.
It was my understanding you were leaving that piece before it, that the board would avoid naming facilities after human beings. So I had that still in my notes. If you would like it removed, we can do so.
And I just have it noted differently, so I'm kind of looking to you guys what you have in your notes, if you remember.
I don't have my notes here, but I thought we were leaving it to the discretion of the superintendent to suggest naming.
Yeah, that's my recollection also. I too left all my home, but that's.
So are we leaving avoid naming facilities after human beings, or are we removing it? Because I have it removed, and really it's one word. The board shall consider naming requests after they're recommended by the superintendent.
I thought it was
Just the one,
with you, but
yeah, just the one sentence. Yeah. And then JBE. I'm struggling with the last one because I can't find it all of a sudden, but in my notes, I have written JBE.
JDE?
JBE, but I don't feel like that's right, because now I'm like, we
don't have any Js.
Yes, we didn't have any Js, so let me find the one I was considering. Oh, I'm sorry. I had that totally wrong. IDCE. IDCE. And it was, in my notes I have, we had questions regarding the colleges because there are colleges listed. And that's not been updated, but is it correct?
It is correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Because I think the only one listed was Washburn University outside of the regions.
Yep, yes, sir. Okay. Those are all the ones I saw that were a little different from what we discussed.
So my thinking would be, and we could go about it a number of different ways. Those that are missing, my recommendation would be that I bring them with the next group to make sure they're included and that you vote on what's here in front of you. But if you have a different preference, you could also make your motion really clear to add the missing policies back in as they were recorded. But I would think it would be cleaner to bring it forward when we do J.
Yeah, I'll make that motion that we approve the policies that are before us and the ones in question be brought back at the next meeting.
Second.
And Nicole, if it's okay, I'll get with you after the meeting just to make sure I've got a good list of what's missing. Thank you.
And then are we updating FC or are we leaving as is? FC was the
The
naming.
naming. Board approval upon recommendation by superintendent.
And remove that first piece.
And ED, add mileage payments to parents may be made only with board approval.
Okay, well, there's a motion and a second
Yes.
before, so.
I'll amend my motion to include those comments.
Then I'll second that.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Rachel, please take the vote.
Mr. Hole,
Yes.
Mrs. Baker,
Yes.
Mrs. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Chitwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Ewing,
Yes.
Mrs. Milius,
Yes.
approved.
Wonderful. Moving on, 9.04, playground equipment and surfacing upgrades at Prairie Creek Elementary School.
Yes, Madam President, I move that we vote in favor of the playground upgrade at Prairie Creek Elementary as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, motion and second, any discussion? Rachel, please take the vote.
Mrs. Baker,
No.
Mrs. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Chitwood,
Yes, and I'm trusting you.
Mrs. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Ewing,
Yes.
Mrs. Milius,
Because I think it should be just postponed until we have all of our plan together. I'm a no. Not because it's not needed.
Mr. Hole,
Yes.
approved.
Wonderful. All right, moving on to future discussion items. I feel like we could do some cleanup in here, y'all. And let's just start at the top. April, class sizes.
Still a topic and in fact has kind of grown. I've had some other conversations, so I'd like to keep that one on for now.
Okay. Corporate involvement in CTE programming. I feel like that's just beginning. but-
Yeah, I was gonna say that's still ongoing. I mean, I guess we can. It doesn't have, I don't know, Dr. Luchelle, do you feel like it
No,
needs to be there?
I do. I just
continue to
on that
encourage
one
that.
with as we plan for the programming right now, we are in the exploratory stages. There have been no decisions. I want to reiterate that. But we are, I mean, one of the things that did come out of our town hall meetings last fall, a year ago, was that we needed to make sure that we did pursue community partnerships in those programs, especially any new ones. And I do want to say that again, as we've toured some facilities and talked with UT directors on their own, they have said that the most important thing when you're bringing a new facility on with programming is secure your partners first. And we are trying to do some of those things, explore those opportunities. So, but there have been no decisions of any kind made.
Okay, data on devices and screens and school performance. Doug?
Yeah, I want to keep that one on there. In fact, given the latest news of given the latest news of the McPherson School District and them taking screens out of the middle schools. And then I also put Dr. Luttrell on warning coming out of the KASB that I'm coming hard for cell phones out of the middle schools, and we will have a future discussion related to that.
All right, what about data on differences between iPads and Chromebooks?
Yeah, I thought we agreed last time that I think that can come off.
Okay, Rachel, could you remove that one, please? Anna, what about IXL?
I believe there's still a lawsuit going on there. I think it's moving forward, but nothing's been resolved yet. So until we know more on what's happening there, I'd like to leave that on.
Doug, USD230 device usage.
I think we can bundle data and devices and school performance and usage, all of that. And part of me wants to get together with technology department too, because I think there's some things that they could be doing to pull data for us there. So can we combine those two? Yep, combine USD 230 device usage data and data on devices. It kind of all falls under the same umbrella.
To confirm, did you want to add cell phone to the list or?
You know, when we get to the bottom of the list, I'm definitely going to add that. Yes.
All right. Oh, next, me, enrollment information checkbox. I don't think I ever really received a confirmation on what that checkbox did. You guys are welcome to leave it or take it off, but there's pieces of enrollment that no one can really tell us what they do. Internet access at baseball and softball fields. I feel like we've been moving forward with that.
Yeah, you've got something.
Yes, we did. In the Friday updates back in October, said we do have pricing on that. And we just need to get some feedback at some point to see if we want to move that forward. Again, it's about a $35,000 expense to do that. But it's something that I'm not sure right now, even if we did bring it forward, I'm not sure that it's something that we could get done in time for the spring or not because of the winter, but it's something that, yes, we have got the pricing.
So it can come off because you're ready to put it as action, discussion and action.
We've
Okay.
got that information.
That's good by me, Doc.
Yep.
All right, the Acacia girls flag football.
I would like that to stay on there. I just happened to talk with somebody today at another one of the schools in our new league. And she was telling me about her daughter participating in flag football up at that school.
So I talked with Mr. Freegon earlier this week. He said Keisha has recently taken a vote and are discussing, they should have results soon as to whether or not it'll be a sanctioned sport for next school year. He's prepared that if it is sanctioned, that they would survey students like they normally would. And then it would come to the board as a recommended program if there's support. Bowling is the other one that's likely to come back to the boards at some point in the spring.
If somebody's actively working it, it can come off. It doesn't need to be on there.
But that's what they're waiting on. They're waiting for Keisha to sanction it.
Could I ask that the middle schools also be surveyed? Because it sounds like it's something that's catching fire on the younger grades that might not be in high school yet. So if we could just make sure
Yep,
we're talking to those kids.
we could do that.
Thank you.
Good idea, April. I know that we had some elementary girls play at Chief Stadium recently, so.
And a middle school team that's apparently phenomenal, so.
Okay, so, update on Peach Jar, which we received, so we can remove that, and mandatory reporter training.
I talked with Mr. Tyler earlier this week. They have actually taken all of our required trainings and put them in one Google Drive, one shared drive that could be shared with the board at any point. So it would have the mandatory reporter training as well as the other trainings that staff are required to do every year. So the board could access it at any time.
Okay, wonderful. You can remove that as well, as long as we have a plan that we are sending that to board members so that they understand they are mandated reporters. Okay, any ads?
Yeah, the removal of cell phones from middle schools. And then I'm going to kill two birds with one stone here. It was actually one of the most productive site council meetings that I recently attended at Woodland Spring Middle School. And Dr. Smith and Kristen, you guys might already be aware of this, but there was parents actually brought it up. And I'm not all that familiar yet because my grade schooler is not in middle school yet. But apparently either in 7th or 8th grade, there begins the introduction process to some of the, I don't want to call them advanced placement, but CTE and extra, high school credit type programs that are able to be accomplished in 7th and 8th grade. And the one area that they really focused in on was an introduction to what exactly is the pathways, are the pathways offered at the high school, at the CTE pathways. Are you guys familiar? You're already aware of this and you're already working on it? Yeah, no, because the parents, the discussion started as, hey, it would be great if you had like a parents' night for eighth grade parents at the high school to lay this out. But then they said, well, wait a minute, if you're going to do it for the eighth graders, might as well do it for the seventh graders because that's going to impact course choices that they take in eighth grade, right? Okay, okay.
Okay.
So one thing speaking of CTE, we got an email today about, what kind of pathways are going to be offered at the new CTE building at the high school. So I'm sure that this is coming, but I just want to make sure that we are able to have a future discussion on any pathways that we're planning for that new space and why those are chosen. This teacher/parent was concerned about the aviation one specifically, like, what the student interest was, the labor market demand, expected costs, and those kinds of things. So I just want to make sure that we're aware of how teachers, students, parents, other stakeholders have been involved in shaping those plans for that building specifically. So I think that's probably in the works, but I just want to make sure.
Yes, definitely. And that's kind of goes with what I said earlier is that there has been a lot of discussion as we plan, and we've tried not to bring anything forward formally to you all just yet because we're still in the information gathering stage, which is still going to continue for probably a few months. Because when we come, we want to make sure that we've gotten input, we've got a full plan and we've got the input we need. We've got the data to support what we need, that when we bring that forward for you all to look at and tweak, that we've got that we've done everything, but we've still got quite a ways to go before we're going to get to that point. But there have been no decisions made or finalized. There have been some, yes, the aviation is one that definitely has been looked at, but that goes back to the fact that after the town hall meetings last about pursuing corporate partnerships, there was that federal aviation grant that was out there that for $1 million that we felt we had a great chance that we applied for. And then, of course, it got froze. The federal government didn't release it. But from there, we'd done so much work. By that time, we had other partners that were reaching out saying, hey, we might be able to do some things with you with it. So we're still looking at that. But again, no decisions.
I want to pile on to that though, Doc. I think, and all I want to say is that it feels like an incredible vacuum on the CTE piece of the bond, and we want to be fed, I think is the fair assessment of that. We're dying to have more information there. And there are some areas that not only did that email raise some concerns, but I already had my own concerns as it related to all the different stakeholders involved in their inclusion in the assessment of what programs are going to rise to the top, which ones continue, which ones expand, things along those lines.
Yeah, I think that's coming if you'd like, we can roll into board work calendar because that's on the board work calendar for January that you have a presentation coming in regards to Spring Hill High School CT boundary survey and limited topography proposal, which maybe then can include some of what is planned there. So.
Yes.
Yep. Also on the board work calendar, I just want, as we roll into board member reports, there is a topic slated for KASB because I feel like all of us that went have a lot of great things, but I think it's probably better served with the new members so you guys can identify priorities from that and how you'd like to move forward. That's just my thought, but that's why it's not on today's agenda. So. Anything in regards to our board work calendar? Okay, moving on to Board of Education member reports.
Can I go first? And the only reason I want to is because I got to participate once again in Reality U, and this time it was at the high school with our students that are taking the financial literacy course, which is now mandated by the state of Kansas. And if you'll recall, last year I did it at Woodland Spring. Well, actually, it was all the middle schoolers. They bust them all over to Woodland Spring, but it was the eighth graders. And what a difference it makes, not only in maturity, but I think it speaks to the coursework that we're doing at the high school on financial literacy, to see these young, up and coming adults actually, actually acting responsible, and knowing how to game the system, with Reality U. And I'm just blown away. I think I may have found what my next endeavor will be after I retire, if I can kind of squeeze it in and kind of be the rep for these guys in Northeast Kansas. But it is a tremendous exercise. I commend the staff, the counselors, everybody at the high school that was involved in pulling this off. It's just a blast. It's absolute blast to be a part of. And I would encourage any of you, when you have the opportunity to volunteer, to do it. Oh, and then I'll just, Woodland Spring. I already gave my piece on that piece as it related to the site council. Thursday night, Mr. Carter is going to be camping out on the roof of the building. So if you have the opportunity, swing by, honk your horn. He'll be out there all night, and we'll be greeting the kids from the roof of the building on Friday,
Why is he doing that?
because they did their book drive, and he challenged the students to purchase 500 books, and they exceeded it.
He's not waiting till spring.
He did it last year or 2 years ago. I think it was I can't
It was
remember.
2 years
1
ago.
year,
Couple
yeah.
years ago.
And it was cold, and he had 1 million kids shout by, and so I love that he incorporates a lot.
Thursday night, Woodland Spring.
Anyone else?
I attended the Spring Hill Middle Site Council. Things of note to bring forward was there were sincere expressions of gratitude for some of the summer update projects that happened in the school. They were very grateful for those, tearfully so, quite honestly, and wanted to extend their thanks to the board for supporting the funding of those things. So I was very moved and appreciative of that. Other things kind of brought up and discussed in there, wanting some desire of whatever the future CTE stuff kind of making its way, and making sure we've got plans to move it downhill to them in terms of building excitement and looking forward to the future to help add to the education enthusiasm in their building. So I said I would pass that along as well. And contrary to rumors out there, it's not 40 degrees in classrooms. The heat is working. Kylie's crew is doing supplemental heat, and they're doing okay. That's the report I got from the building there. So that's what I have to report from Spring Hill Middle Site Council.
Anyone else? I'll go. Spring Hill Site Council meeting, Spring Hill High School Site Council meeting. Good things, talked a lot about CTE. I think there's a lot of parents eager to hear where that's going. We spoke about unified programs and all that has been added, unified music and unified bowling this year. Lots of great things. Kyle Costa does a great job hosting that and looking to parents for input. I will give a small update on KSB, just one thing since I won't be here, but it's in regards to our Kansas State Board. There was I asked a question about AI and what guidance they're going to provide to our district on where that should be. And in my opinion, you can go two ways. You can either embrace it or you can run from it. We've lots of opinions out there. But one thing that I felt, there was some discussion from each of them. One thing I found really interesting was that there was a suggestion to stop using the AI detection softwares because the relationship, the hurt that it does to your students when one, they're incredibly inaccurate. Yes, and the hurt that you're doing when that happens is so much worse than educating your kids to utilize it. So I'd love to hear what next year brings and encourage our board to really be on top of that and ahead of it, because I think it's happening really fast. And lastly, I attended the Leadership Olathe reunion, which is not necessarily school related, but I was allowed the opportunity to participate, sponsored by USD230. And I would encourage any of our members to, or maybe even our staff, to really think about joining that. I did Leadership Spring Hill and enjoyed it. Leadership Olathe, there's some really great opportunities for relationship building, especially with the fact that we have schools in Olathe and maybe half of our student population reside there. So just something to think about as you go forward. Again, a lot of great opportunities, a lot of connections to be made there, and just a lot of collaboration with the chamber. So that's my update.
Okay, real quick. I went to the Snowball at Timber Sage on Friday night, and I hadn't been to that event in a couple years, so it was really fun to go. But they've kind of changed things around where they have all the different pods with different activities and crafts and games and stuff for all the kids. And you could even like build a bear. And then in the gym, they have a big blow up for the kids to jump through. And they had over 350 people come through that night, and they had 80 auction items. So that PTO is doing a fabulous job. I don't know how they do it, but they had some really cool stuff that was donated, and it was a really fun event, and it was done really well. So that was it.
Okay. All right. Moving on to superintendent's report, Dr. Luttrell.
Real quick, because I know that we've got our guests waiting, but again, Christmas break will begin after the school day is in on December 19th, and we'll continue through January 2nd. Classes resume at regular schedule on Monday, January 5th. And then we also just want to say again, there's a lot of program and concerts between now and December 19th date. So make sure you can get out if you can to watch some of those. Our winter sports is in full gear as well. And then again, just thanks once again to each of the 3 outgoing Board of Education members. Again, your dedication and time in the past numerous years is very much appreciated. That's my superintendent's report.
Okay, we need an executive session.
Madam President, I move the board go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters of non-elected personnel to protect the privacy interests of and identifiable individuals under COMA. Those to be in the session include the Board of Education members, superintendent of schools, legal counsel, and others as requested. The executive session to begin at 6:10 with open meeting resuming at 6:20.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Rachel, please take the vote.
Mrs. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Chitwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Ewing,
Yes.
Mrs. Milius,
Yes.
Mr. Hole,
Yes.
Mrs. Baker,
Yes.
approved.
At least out of.
Okay, we are back in session.
You want me to do that? Okay, Madam President, I move we amend the agenda to add an action item, which includes our superintendent's contract.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion to amend the, to add an action item in regards to the superintendent's contract? Rachel, please take the vote.
Mr. Chitwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Ewing?
Yes.
Mrs. Milius?
Yes.
Mr. Hull?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Horn?
No.
Approved.
All right.
Madam President, I make a motion to amend the superintendent's contract to extend through June of 2028.
Second.
Accurate.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, let me just start by saying this could be perceived, I don't know, like it's coming out of left field at the end of the year, at the end of a term for our outgoing board members. And let me just say that the intent here was to extend, well, first of all, let me back up. The RFP process, personally for me, was underwhelming on the responses that we got. And to hastily go back into that process again didn't seem necessarily fair to the incoming new board members. And so therefore, I approached Dr. Luttrell and subsequently brought him into the board, and he graciously agreed to put his personal plans on hold and give us another year to effectively buy us now what is 2.5 years. So we've got our 3 new board members coming in, getting their legs underneath them and going through this process the correct way. We were already behind the 8 ball the first time around. We should really begin the process of looking for a new superintendent in July. And this will also give Dr. Luttrell the opportunity to work on a succession plan that may ultimately help us in our endeavors to look for our new superintendent. So that's just what I want to add.
Okay, any other discussion? Rachel, please take the vote.
Mrs. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Ewing?
Yes.
Mrs. Milius?
Yes.
Mr. Hull?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Horn?
I can say something right here, right? I don't
Yes,
have
you get to
say-
explain your vote.
Okay, good. On October 13th, we voted 7-0 to move forward with the new superintendent search. 56 days later is where we're at today. The same board makes an unprecedented change in procedure to vote to extend Dr. Luttrell's contract. A vote that typically has taken place in the springtime, as Doug just alluded. I want to make this very clear, and especially to you, Dr. Luttrell, because I hate when people talk like I'm not sitting in the room. My vote of no today is not based on my personal feelings for you, on your performance, or how I feel about how you've done for our district. You or whoever hold that position in the future have my unending support to make our district the best that it can be and our students the best. I believe that we should respect your announcement to end your contract. I believe you trusted us with your future plans by giving us plenty of time to map out the future of our district. And now we as a board are betraying that trust. Our voters, our staff of USD230, and our students deserve consistent and fair leadership from their elected officials, whether on their first day of service or on their last. I do believe this is a breach of trust, and I firmly oppose this vote. And with that, I vote no.
Mr. Chitwood?
Yes.
Approved.
All right.